Good morning and welcome along to our Staying Well While Staying Home series, a collaboration between Siel, Bleu Ireland and the Irish Cancer Society. So very welcome along to the session this morning. Any questions, any issues along the way, just to get in touch, just to let me know in the comments. Changing the format a little bit, we'll go through our warm-up. I'm going to bring it then into one bigger, longer circuit today, comprised of 7 movements or exercises. A mix of strength and aerobic work. So hopefully there'll be a nice flow. I'm just changing the workouts up just a little bit, just to keep the interest there, and just change the challenge a little bit as we go along. So things we have are weights. You can use tins or bottles. We have a chair that we can use, and I have a nice space because I will have a little bit of walking in the session today, but not to worry if you're a little bit limited. You can just, we can adapt that movement. Bottle of water and maybe window open as well. So that's probably enough talk from me. What we'll do is get straight into the workout. We'll get ourselves active and we'll get ourselves warmed up. So let's begin. Marching on the spot, I will lead all of the work in standing. However, if any movement causes you pain, to change that exercise, you can take it into a seated position if you need, or just avoid any movement that causes pain or discomfort. So we'll just begin lightly marching on the spot, getting ourselves warmed up, bringing that heart rate up and just loosening everything out before we start to work harder. Okay, pausing with my motion. What I want to do is fold the arms, one arm hovers above the other, rotate to the right and bring the arm across, rotate to the left, bring the left arm across. Okay, so just rotate side to side, opening the arm as you rotate. So you just bring the arm as far back as comfortable. So stretching or opening out through the back, really nice rotation. And we'll just open out to that shoulder as well here as we bring the arm back, one at a time. I'll go once more in each position. And back to march. Any issues, touch wood we won't. Any issues with the stream, I will start a new live stream. It can occasionally happen that YouTube might let us down, but I will start a new stream in the event of that happening. As I say, touch wood, no problems. Next movement, bring the hands up, stepping side to side, and just pressing as you go. You're just pushing out from chest, stepping side to side. So you're just nice and dynamic with all our movements. As I'll always say with a warm-up, I'll try not to get overly technical. Just keep the body active, keep it moving. You're bringing that heart rate up, you're warming the body up, you're loosening out all the joints, all the parts of the body that we're going to work in the session. Areas like your chest, your back, your shoulders, just switching them on, seeing how they feel before we start to push them or put load through these positions. And return back to march. Okay, next action. Want to do in my warm-up and a couple of bum kicks. So how that looks, just curling the leg back. Just checking in. Admin, how are we? I think Paul today on the admin, how are you? Good to have you with us. Hopefully you're working out as well. Just curling those legs back. Remember, everything in the warm-up, kind of comfortable at your own pace, gradually building up. You don't need to achieve that position where you feel fully ready to go straight away. Gradually build up to a point where you're then ready to push harder. Okay, just going to pause the motion. What I want to do is take a step forward and pull the hands back. So what that looks like, my arms are outstretched, step forward and pull back. So think like a rowing action here. I'll show that from the side. So I just want to connect with the back of my body. stepping into that motion of pulling or rowing. Arms pull back, elbows tuck in, and a little bit of a squeeze or connection with the back of your body here. And we'll just go on another couple of times, just thinking about connecting with the back of the body on this one. And return back to march. I'm going to stay in this position just to show the next movement. This one you'll get a little bit of movement through the ankle, and the hip always plays a big part in my session, in terms of whether we're squatting, maybe marching, even just some of the aerobic movements. So we're just going to stretch out the hip a little bit as well here. Use your chair if you like. Stretch the legs back. Gently pointing your toes into the floor. And just think about stretching that leg back as far as comfortable, using support if needed. And return back to march. I'm going to take one more action in my warm-up. And this will again connect with the upper body, specifically around your chest. What I want to do is bring the hands up. I'm going to pause the movement. I want to just swivel to the left and press. Return, swivel to the right and press. Again, I don't need to push these angles too extreme, just, as I say, a swivel side to side and a nice smooth press out from chest. Just going between the two positions, lightly to the left and then lightly over to the right, and just pressing out each time. Once more each position. And back in. Okay, so we'll just continue to lightly march out. Take a sip of water if you need. I'm going to introduce us into our main block of work now. Circuit 7 exercises. We'll repeat 3 rounds. If you find my pace is a little bit tough, slow it down. I'll always say simple things like do every second repetition with me, or just work at your own pace. Make any changes that you need, and first and foremost, if the movement is just painful, doesn't feel right, do change the exercise. Maybe in the first round I'll be introducing some of the movements, but really by round 2 and 3, hopefully we'll just go with a really nice flow and pace to the movement. But pause, take a breather, any point you feel breathless and need a break. But let's get straight into it with our first movement. What I'm going to do is, before I set the clock, I will demonstrate this action. I'm going to work a coordination squat. Have your chair if you need, okay, you may be comfortable without, but might just use the chair on this first one to guide me with the movement. Just going to bring the feet about shoulder width, soften the knees, chest is up. What I want to do is squat down, opening one arm to the side and one arm in front. As I squat down, I look whichever arm goes to the side. I'll turn my head to that direction. I tap the chair straight back up, and of course I can turn this into a full sit if I need. Any issues with the squat, we're just going to go for our leg pulses, which we often do, just a kind of quick adaptation there if any issues with the squat. So let's begin. Let's put the clock on and let's get into that first action, starting in a couple of seconds. So feet shoulder width, knees soft, chest out. Beginning, 3, 2, 1. Squat down, open one arm in front, one arm to the side. I'm going to follow whichever arm is opening to the side. So bring a little coordination into the movement. I just lightly tap the chair. That lets me know my hips are sitting down and back, so I'm not bending my spine, I'm not bending the back. I'm keeping my chest out. If you need, you can fully sit down to that chair, no problem. Maybe don't even need that chair behind, absolutely fine. But if you're just a little bit unsure, keep that chair behind just to guide you with the movement. Just a little tip, straight back up. Again, one arm in front, one arm to your side. I'm taking air in as I lower. Exhale as I stand. We're going to work a little bit harder through the upper body to keep straight as we open the arms. One more. Okay, next action, grab your weight, your two weights. So I have my two dumbbells here. Combination. I've talked before how I've come across before, maybe we struggle with the typical chest press action sometimes. So what I do is sometimes break the movement up like this. Take your two weights by your side, like holding a suitcase. Lift the weight, push from chest and return. So you're just briefly taking that tension off the chest. Not going to push it in such a way that maybe feels uncomfortable. You can just break the motion down into a curl and then a smooth press. So keeping the elbows by my side at first, and then I allow them to travel forward. So I curl, working the arm on each side, and then press, connecting with the chest. What we'll sometimes find is a prolonged pushing or pressing out from the chest. Maybe there's issues like around the chest, the shoulder. Sometimes they cause a little bit of discomfort, which is why I sometimes lead with this adaptation, where you can just break it down nicely. When you press, keep the action smooth. Try not to punch that weight out or lurch it out in a way that's uncomfortable. Nice, smooth, straight line out. One more time. And back down. Okay? I'm going to set up for the next movement. If you have a bit of space, we're going to take it into a walking action, a march. If you're a bit tight with space, march on the spot instead. A couple of ways in terms of the setup. What I want to do is rest the weights just above the shoulders, so they're not up overhead, anything like that, but they're not resting on the shoulders unless I feel I need to. If this position is uncomfortable, hold the weight by your side instead. Well, let's try this position if comfortable, just about an inch above my shoulders. Let's begin walking up and down. So I do say, excuse me, kind of walking into the screen, but it just gives me the most space here. What you're going to do in this position, those shoulders really switched on, endurance. And you're going to work a little bit harder through your core to keep a nice strong position. So a more challenging position than just holding the weights by your side, which we've previously done. So just bring an extra layer of challenge in. Move at a pace that's comfortable. I always say get a feel for these movements on round one. If it feels too easy, you might bring it to a more brisk pace as we go. If it gets tiring, drop the weights down by your side instead. One more time. And back. Okay, you can drop the weight down. I want you to hold on to one single weight. We're going to work on a rowing action. Now, I will build this movement up, but I just want to bring it back to a reset. I haven't included it since we've returned in January, so a bit of a reset at a position today. Stand back from the chair, soften your knees, push your hips back. So that's really important. Push the hips back, hold the chair, grasp the weight in right hand. So my back is straight. I pull the weight up into my tummy, I lower it back down. So pull the weight up, lower back down. Your back stays straight, and that's why I talk about soft knees, hips pushing back. So that keeps me in a comfortable position where I'm not bending that back. Now, as we get more comfortable with the action, think about pulling low into your stomach as opposed to high up into the chest. Point I always give, tuck elbow into your back pocket. So visualize or imagine trying to bring that elbow into your back pocket. You might just get a better squeeze, connection with the back of your body. As I say, we will build this movement up next week. We can work the 2 weights, but just today, I want to kind of get the positioning, the setup, just that you feel comfortable with the action before we build it up and maybe work 2 weights together. Reset, okay? Swap the weight over to the left. Get back from that chair. Keep those knees soft. Hips push back, so that just draws me back. Body, upper body is straight. Hold the weight in left hand. Begin. Pull the weight up. Lower back down. That weight comes low into my stomach. And then relax or stretch back down. So we'll continue on. Let's talk about breathing on this side. Exhale as you pull up, that's the real exertion. Inhale as you relax the weight down. Avoid any kind of a swing. Think about just a little pause up in the top position, holding that weight briefly and then slowly lowering back down. Again, we're just trying to get the connection today. Can I keep my position strong, comfortable, not bending the back? And can I start to get a little bit of feeling and connection with the back? So, as I say, we'll build it up. But just today, we're going to try and get the mechanics of the movement really nice. Pull up, squeeze, lower back down. Once more. And back down. Reset. Drop the weight. We'll move into more of an aerobic action next. Might like to have your chair, and of course you can do this in a seated position if this is difficult. So what I'm going to do is bring my left knee across and my right hand down. Okay, so how that looks, might just start off with a bit of chair support. 3, 2, 1, and like so. Okay, so what maybe starts as just a kind of a light, simple action, you can start to build up into a more brisk and challenging pace as you go. But start off, just get a feel for the action. Does this angle feel okay? Maybe the shoulder feels a bit uncomfortable. Maybe you need to bring that arm down a bit like this. So just trying to take note of how it feels and then continue on. As I say, right hand down and across, left knee up and across. And just continue on. And again, you might like just that little bit of chair support that kind of might allow you to go with a bit of push in the movement without feeling unbalanced or uncomfortable here. So again, maybe what started quite simple now starts to feel more challenging. Last couple of times. And switch. Okay, swap side. You might bring your chair across. Exactly the same action, but now right knee across, left hand down. Okay, so we'll start that in a couple of seconds. Catch your breath, and we'll go in 3, 2, 1, and let's begin. Again, start light, particularly on the first couple. You don't need to go too fast. Just make sure you feel comfortable, you feel balanced, and you're kind of just gauging, as this is the first round, what kind of pace is comfortable or appropriate. You know, do I need to maybe just stay at a slightly lower speed, otherwise maybe feel unbalanced, or can I start to move slightly more brisk pace? Do I need to change the angle? Maybe I need to come from a little bit lower, that's fine. Make any changes that you need. Breathing all the time, just never holding that breath. We'll go, last couple of times. Three, and 2, and 1, and down, okay? First round of circuit finished. Take a breather. Just as I always say, after one round of a circuit, ask yourself, how was that? Easy, in which case you're maybe going to work with a little bit more power in the next round. and you might think about, is there kind of a heavier weight available to me over time? If it was quite hard, don't be afraid to slow that down. Take it back a notch. Don't work at the same pace as me. Try maybe every second rep, or just going at your own pace, whatever that might be. And if there's any particular action that feels uncomfortable, change that action. Don't persist if it feels painful or uncomfortable. Okay? Yeah, being great. They're heavy enough, I can assure you. Right, so let's go. Round number 2. Let's just get straight into it. But of course, take a longer break if needed. Let's go with our squats again. Put the clock on. We'll start in about 20 seconds. Again, maybe you don't need the chair, but it can just be useful to ensure that you are going in a correct movement pattern here. Feet about shoulder width, knees soft, chest out. We'll begin the action in 3, 2, 1. Open one arm in front, one arm to your side. I'm going to track the movement of the arm that's going to the side every time. I tap the chair, so once I feel that chair, straight back up. So I'm choosing not to fully sit into it unless I need to. So my chest stays up, so I want to keep that back straight. All the work through the legs. We're going to work a little bit in terms of coordination also here with the arms. So make sure you're not leaning to one side as you introduce the arm raises in different directions. I'm taking air in, releasing air on the way up. Last couple of times, going at a pace that's right for you. Once more. Taking our weight next. Again, there is always time in between, so there's no panic. But just take your time. Grab the weights when ready, but always keep sipping on that water as you go. Take your 2 weights. Imagine holding a suitcase. So elbows in by my sides, lift the weight up from that position, smooth press out in front. Return, back down. Curl, press, reverse back down. So again, if you think things like my back, there's no arch, particularly as I push the weight, think or imagine an imaginary straight line that I've drawn out from my chest, so I want to keep that angle, ensuring that you're not dropping down as you're tired, keeping in line with the chest as much as you can. And the pace of that movement controlled. I don't want to punch the weight out really fast, that it might feel a bit tight around the shoulder. Keep it smooth, straight out in front. The arms active, chest active, very much upper body work here. One more time. And down. Okay? We're just taking the weight out of your hands. A couple of seconds. We're going to go into the march up and down. Remember, I had the weights just above the shoulders, but resting fully on them if I needed to, or down by your side. Even doing this movement without weight if that feels more appropriate. So again, weights just maybe an inch above shoulders. Keep the elbows relaxed and begin. And again, you know now, based on that first round, if this was really tough, maybe you're going to slow it down. Maybe you're going to hold the weights down by your side instead. Maybe it felt fine. So just as you get more familiar with all these actions, you can kind of work at a pace that's appropriate. If it just becomes a bit tight or you're just feeling tired in this position with the weight, adjust position, drop the weight down by your side. And rest weight down, okay? Keep hold of one. We're going to go for that rowing action again. And as I say today, I'm not worried so much about pushing it really hard for this action. I really just want to get the mechanics of the setup and some of the connection. So, stand back from your chair, knees soft, hips push back as I hold on to that chair. So my back is nice and straight. Hold the weight, pull up into your tummy, lower back down. So just control, like pause, a little squeeze, lower back down. Tucking the elbow in. And again, kind of visualize, it's not that it's physically going to happen, but just imagine tucking your elbow into your back pocket. So there's that kind of feeling of a squeeze, a connection with your back. I'm pulling that weight in nice and low, getting a nice activation here. So I get any kind of a connection with my back, and once my setup feels comfortable, I don't feel any pain in this position, I feel strong in the position. Really happy then. Exhale as I pull up. Inhale as weight returns down. Last couple of times. And down, reset. Okay, just relax the position. We'll go through that again. Weight in left hand. Again, just a comfortable distance from the chair, keeping those knees soft. I want to push the hips backwards, and you'll see that just draws me into a nice position where my back is straight. Pull the weight up, lower the weight down, and that's the control I want. Little pause in the top position, slowly lower the weight back down. And I exhale as I bring the weight up. Inhale as I return the weight down. Elbow tucking into that back pocket. And keeping the position narrow as opposed to really wide with the elbow. Keeping it narrow. Getting any kind of a connection or activation through the back. Keeping my knees soft, my hips are pushed back. Back staying straight, so I'm not bending in the position. Last couple of times. Pull up, squeeze, lower back down. One more time. And back down. Okay, reset position. Let the weight down. Again, just a little coordination and more of an aerobic movement here. Have your chair for support. I'm going to bring the right arm out and across. I'm going to bring the arm down and the left knee up to meet the hand. So in 3, 2, 1, let's begin. And just start slow on the first couple and then build it up as you go. Upper body stays nice and strong, and you'll see that I'm not bending like this. I'm going to keep it straight. Core switched on as I bring that hand down to the knee. Again, chair support optional, but I just think in terms of being able to work at a nice pace and power here, it might just be worth holding that chair for a bit of support. Lift the knee across, bring the hand down and across. Maybe what starts easy starts to become harder. Change the angle if you need. If you need to come from a lower position with the arm, that's fine. If the shoulder feels any way tight. And down. Just going to swap it up, bringing that chair to the other side. Same action again. So that will be right knee and left hand. 3, 2, 1, begin. Yeah, just kind of feel your way into the action, making sure that you're balanced and comfortable throughout, and then continuing on. Nice kind of brisk pace if comfortable to do so. Knee across, hand across. Now, in the last couple of times, if comfortable to do so. And rest, okay? 2 rounds finished. Let's pause the clock, let's take a drink of water. Take stock, again, is this easy, is it hard? Making changes accordingly. Slowing it down if it's too hard. Going at your own pace. Changing any movement that doesn't feel good. It doesn't even have to feel painful. If it just doesn't feel right as a movement or comfortable, do change it. If it feels, let's say, too easy, and say maybe over time just thinking about access to maybe slightly heavier weight if available, or just moving even with a slightly more brisk pace, like your march or that last action, as opposed to maybe doing it really slow. So let's go. Third, final round. Maybe noting that might get a little bit harder. Just as the body goes on, maybe gets a little bit more tired. So do take stock of that again if you need to take a couple of breathers along the way. Remember, I can still talk, hold a conversation. So yes, there might be signs of exertion, light sweat, red. I'm not completely breathless, and I'm not in any pain or discomfort. So let's go. The clock goes back on, starting in about 20 seconds. So again, I'm just going to open the feet about shoulder width. Knees stay soft, chest stays up and out. Okay? I'm going to squat down or sit fully to the chair. One arm out, one arm in front. And remember those leg pulses if the squat is not comfortable for you for any reason. Begin. One arm in front, one arm to your side. Inhale as I go down. Exhale as I rise up. Tracking the movement of the arms. Variation on your squat. A little bit of thinking involved to bring one arm in front, one arm to the side, and just tracking that movement with your head and keeping that core strong. You're not tilting or leaning to one side as you raise the arms. From the side position, just to show that action, make sure you're keeping that back straight so that you're not bending. That's why if you're in any doubt, keep that chair behind just to guide you. So your hips moving down and back. Working the legs, strong core, back stays straight. Once more, and back. Taking our weights next. Okay. 2 weights, I would say, just think holding a suitcase here in each hand. Elbows fixed by my side. Let's begin in 3, 2, 1. Curl the way up, aligned with my chest, and then I press. Return, back down. Again, that nice smooth press out from chest. Connection with the arms as I curl the way up. Break it down. Just reminding yourself, keeping that action from the chest smooth. Okay? So imagine or draw a straight line out that I stay in line with every time. So I'm not dropping the weight down as I press. I'm keeping it straight. And again, it's just a nice controlled action. I'm trying to avoid a sudden jolt or a really quick press. Just nice and smooth. Last couple of times. Once more. Back down. Okay? Rest the weight down briefly if you need here. Back to the march, round 3. If you need this without any weight, absolutely fine. If you want to hold the weight by your side, or as I'll demonstrate, just maybe an inch above the shoulder. So how that setup looks. Like this, just maybe an inch above the shoulder. 3, 2, 1, I begin. Keeping that body straight. Shoulder switched on. Core strong. So to hold that weight steady in position is going to work a little bit harder. And again at a pace that's appropriate for you. Whether that's kind of walking speed or the slightly more brisk pace here, if comfortable. Last time. And rest weight down. I'm going to keep hold of one weight, rest the other weight down. And again, always taking those little breaks. I'm always explaining and teaching into the next move, but I know that you guys will want to always kind of take a rest as needed. So my setup, stand back from the chair, weight in right hand. Knees are soft, so not tight and rigid. I'm going to push those hips back directly behind me. And that's me in position. So my back is nice and straight here. Bring the weight up into your tummy. Lower the weight back down. So nice squeeze as I pull the weight up. Little pause in the top position. And then slowly lower back down. Stretching it fully back down. Again, think elbow into your back pocket. So you're getting a lovely kind of squeeze or connection. And that's all we want today with this movement. If we can maintain a nice strong position without bending the back, and if we can even just start to connect to get any kind of a feeling with the back, perfect here. I'm going to exhale, so bring that weight up, inhale as I return the weight back down. Let's go last couple of times through movement. Once more, and back down. Reset the position, okay? Weight over to my left hand. Let's again just keep those knees soft. Let's push those hips backwards and just draw that body into that lovely straight position. Left hand with the weight, pull up into your tummy, lower back down, stretching back out. Up and squeeze. And then stretching back out. So maintaining that position. Movement is through the arm, pulling the weight up, lowering back down. I'm going to squeeze, activate any kind of a connection, feeling my back as I pull that weight up. That's maintaining that nice straight position. Exhale, so bring it up. Inhale, weight returns. Last couple of times, if that's comfortable. And once more. Back down, reset, drop the weight down. Final action, our cross body hand knee tap. And again, chair support here. Starting in about 10 seconds. So another couple of seconds just to catch some breath and to settle. Okay. So, right arm across and down to the left knee. Again, even on the third round, I just start slow, make sure I'm balanced, just allow the body to adjust, and then I'll continue at a nice and a brisk pace, providing that feels comfortable. Slowing it down if I feel tired, or very breathless. So you want to find a pace that's challenging, but that you can sustain. So I don't want to go so fast that I have to stop after every 20 seconds. Something that I can maintain, where I do feel I'm challenging myself. Good strong lift to the knee, and just stretching across with that arm. Make any adjustment, seated position by this point if you need it. Lower arm position, make any little switches. And swap, okay? Bring the chair across. Opposite side. And we're going to go for that same action. Just a couple of seconds, set up. Go in, so right knee, left hand. Beginning, 3, 2, 1, and start. Again, just allow the body adjust. And then continuing at a nice brisk pace, if comfortable. Now just kind of breathing throughout, just avoiding holding the breath. Which can sometimes happen in a movement like this. Just ensure always breathing. Core is strong. Okay, so I'm not bending. Try not to let this happen. Just going to keep it straight. Lift the knee across, bring the hand across. Last couple of times, if you are comfortable to do so. And once more, hand down. Okay, so first thing you might do, just start walking the position out. We're going to start relaxing, okay, and cooling down after that works. Just start walking out on the spot. Maybe take a drink of water. Different format today. Just as you lightly walking out on the spot, just catch your breath, take a drink of water, and we're just going to slowly phase down now. Different format today, just trying to bring a little bit more intensity and just to change it up. I think when we're doing these home workouts, I know boredom and that can set in, so we just want to try different formats, and I always say literally keep people on their toes, and just give you different formats, different challenges as we go along. So hopefully that works out. Don't be afraid to let me know, too hard, too easy, maybe need more adaptations, but don't be afraid to just let me know. And as I say, we're just going to go through a cool down now. Particularly when we did work quite hard there today, we want to relax everything down. So just a little overview or a recap. Some of the work, we had a squat, so we worked our legs. What else did we have today? We had our curl and press, so we were working the chest and the arms. We had our walk, so again, core very active, shoulders active. We had that coordination movement again, so core. And just aerobic, working the heart, working the lungs through movement. And we have the rowing as well today. So we worked the back, and that's a movement we're going to develop over the coming weeks with a couple of different variations. But hopefully we got the mechanics of that setup. So first kind of nice light movement here. Just stretching the legs back. So the work we were doing, overall strength, aerobic. So exercise where we're looking to build strength in areas like your shoulders, the legs, and then kind of comprised together and broken up with certain parts which are more aerobic. So building up endurance in the lungs. Okay, just going to take this into a longer stretch and hold more of a setup here. Pause the movement. Stretch the right leg back down onto your toes. Second part, squeeze glute. So physically squeeze. You can see how I just kind of squeeze and gently push forward. Maybe feeling a stretch around that hip here. Okay. and back down. Same for the opposite side. Stretch the left leg back, point the toes down. Secondly, squeeze glutes here. Just lightly push forward or pulse forward a little bit. And maybe feeling a stretch now on that left hip. The front right leg, just keeping the knee soft. Hold your stretch. Reset. Once more each side, we'll try that again. Right leg back, you're down on your toes. Secondly, I want to squeeze, okay? And gently pulse forward here. Feeling a stretch around that right hip. And just keeping that front left leg nice and soft. I always say, some of these stretches, they take a little practice. Maybe I'll include it again next week. Don't get too bogged down on it if you don't feel perfect activation. Just explore these movements and then all kind of tied in with relaxing down as well here. And back. Reset. Left leg back, you're down on your toes. Secondly, squeeze, glutes. And then just lightly pushing forward a little bit. Maybe feeling a stretch around that left hip. And relax, okay? Just gonna lightly walk it out. Very welcome, Mary. Hopefully that was okay. And great work as ever, Mary. Very consistent, so well done to yourself. Thanks for that. Okay, I'm just gonna lightly curl the legs back at this point. It's simple things. Because we're relaxing down, you might just use a bit of chair support. We're not worried at this point about the intensity. It's more about slowing it down, relaxing the body. Just lightly curl the legs back. Okay, moving into a little bit of upper body. I'm going to do this as we warmed up, where I put one arm hovering above the other. I want to rotate to the right, open that right arm, but I'm going to stay in the position for a couple of seconds. Let's hold, and then return. Over to the left, open that left arm out to the side, hold in position. Hold the position, hold the stretch. Just relaxing that body down. Over to the left. Okay, let's go once more in each position. And then over to the left. And down. Okay, and just walking it out. And just taking the shoulders slowly back as you go. You can see the intensity is really low, really relaxed at this point. Just relaxing the body down. Rolling the shoulders back, barely tipping the feet off the floor. Change direction, even pause the movement with your feet if you prefer. And just bringing those shoulders forward in circles. Okay, next motion, pause the feet, hands up. I want to stretch the arms forward as far as I can and away. And then I want to pull the hands back. You can see I tuck those elbows in, squeeze, connect back of the body. So we'll stretch out the back. And then we'll pull back, shorten position. Okay? No problem. Thanks, Paul. Okay, just going to take one more stretch, nice stretch of the shoulders, the arm. But as I always say, you might feel activation in your back, your chest. I'm not wrong if you do. So just to finish out, hands together. Keep the body straight and you bring those arms back. So I'm bringing the arms back as far as comfortable without compromising my position. Just going to hold for a couple of seconds, relax back down. Same again. And then we'll go one more time, same action, and holding for a little bit longer this last time. Arms straight, hands together. I feel a nice stretch in the arms and shoulders. And back down. Okay, as ever, just going to finish with a couple of nice deep breaths. I'm going to tie in with a little bit of movement, just ensure you're nice and relaxed after all that hard work today. So very simple, just going to tie a movement in with a little bit of breathing. Hands side of head, elbows in front. I want you to inhale, fill the air with lungs, and open those elbows out. Exhale and relax the position. Same again, and that's the way I want to keep it nice, controlled at your own pace. Don't speed through this, won't work. Keep this part nice and relaxed. Try that 3 more times. Twice more. Once more. And back down. Okay, that concludes our session. Hopefully feeling good after the workout. We'll be back next Wednesday, same time, 10 o'clock. So hope you have a great week. Any questions on that, don't be afraid to get in touch or just let me know in the comments. But hopefully enjoy the workout and have a great week. Well done, everyone.